label completion. You will learn 4 steps that will help you to answer the diagram completion task effectively. We'll look at how to gain a general understanding of the diagram, identify the word forms needed for the gaps, and scan the passage, and read intensively to locate the correct answer. Let's now have a look at the first step. The first step is to look at the diagram to get a general understanding of the topic and content. This can help you understand how the reading relates to the image. Don't spend too much time doing this. You only need a general understanding of the diagram to help you answer the questions. Here's a sample diagram label completion question. Remember to read the instructions carefully, which in this case are to complete the questions by using no more than 3 words and/or numbers from the passage for each answer. This means you can use a maximum of 3 words or numbers or any combination of the 2. We will take a closer look at this diagram. At a quick glance, you can see that this diagram represents a food pyramid. First, you should locate the title, Food Pyramid, which is at the bottom. Inside the pyramid, there are pictures of some basic foods. Looking at the key in the top right corner, you can see that the white dots represent fat and sugars. Around the sides of the pyramids are the names of different foods and the number of recommended servings. By looking at these features, you now have a general understanding of the diagram. It shows how many servings of these foods you should eat and whether they are high in fat and sugar. Now, answer this quick question. What does this diagram show? Read the options and choose one. The answer is C. The diagram shows food categories with recommended daily intakes. Answer A, food chain cycle, is not correct because a chain indicates a sequence or series of steps which are linked, whereas our diagram, the pyramid, shows different foods according to their type. Similarly, answer B is also not correct as the pyramid makes no mention of shopping for food. Next, you need to identify the word forms needed for the gaps. In this step, look again at the pyramid and decide which word form, that is noun, adjective, verb or adverb, or even a number or numbers, is necessary for questions 28 to 30. So, how exactly can you do this? Let's find out. Sometimes you can use the format of the other labels in the diagram to identify which word form you need. For example, you can see that question 30 needs a noun because in each of the other labels there is a noun in that position in the label. Another way to predict the required words is to think about the meaning. You should also look at the diagram and predict what possible answers you may need. Think logically. Based on the image, what answer would be possible? In this case, you could logically predict that the answers are types of food or the number of servings advised per day. In the next step, you need to scan the passage. Do you remember what scanning is? Scanning is when you search a reading passage quickly to locate a particular word or piece of information. You need to find the section of the passage which describes the diagram. Often, this is one specific paragraph or section. You can find this by scanning the passage for the heading of the diagram or for other keywords. Remember that the text may use synonyms. For example, if the diagram says bread, you should search not only for this word, but other related words such as cereals, grains, or carbohydrates. In terms of synonyms, if you see a word on the diagram such as consume, you should search for a word in the reading passage that has the same meaning, like eat. In the following example, the appropriate section of the reading passage has already been found for you. This paragraph is taken from a longer IELTS reading passage. You can see that the title of the diagram, the food pyramid, as well as some key words that were written on the diagram, have been highlighted. The test taker has scanned and found these words so that they can be quite sure that this is the section that contains the answers. The final step is to read intensively, to look for the information, to fill in the gaps in the diagram. Remember, in this type of question, the information you're looking for will not always be in the same order as the questions. Please note that as with all completion-type questions, your answers should come directly from the passage. This means that you must not change the form of the words in your answer. For example, if the information you're looking for is written as an adjective in the reading passage, do not change the adjective to a noun when you write your answer. Also, do not add extra words that are not found in the reading passage. When you read carefully, you'll see that the answer to question 28 is 6 to 11 servings. For question 29, the answer is fruit, and for question 30, the answer is dairy. So, after scanning the passage, then reading carefully to make sure we have the correct information, we can put in our answers for questions 28 to 30. Note that for question 28, there are different ways we can write the numbers 6 to 11, as long as we keep to the word limit. So, that's how you answer diagram completion questions in the IELTS reading.